You ever have those moments where somebody says, hey, it's great to see you, and then you go, I think he meant great to meet you, and then you have that like awkward moment, and you're like, crap, I met this person, and then you realize you had, and then you have egg on your face because, hey, you're the jackass. How did you not remember that? I just had that moment with our next guest, Adam Ray, in studio. Because Adam walks in and goes, dude, it's great to see you. And I'm like, and you saw the look in my face.
And it was genuine, and I meant it. And I don't think you get that a lot. I think people just brush right by you a lot. But I walked in with a lot of like, dude, Andrew, Drew. I even thought about going with Drew or Andy.
My folks call me Drew.
Yeah?
Yeah, not Andy, please. But Drew would be great. Andy, I probably deserve Andy after treating you that way.
That takes you back to your Toy Story days, yeah?
Yes. Don't need that.
Yeah. Andy, did you get like reprimanded as Andy?
Oh my mother reprimanded others if she ever heard them call me Andy.
No way.
That's a no-fly zone.
No way.
Never been an Andy. Matter of fact, like if you were to yell in my face, Andy,
sure,
I wouldn't even know that you're talking to me. I would like, it might as well be Frank you're yelling.
So your mom, so if someone yells at you, Andy, then your mom just shows up unannounced to
this day.
Just kind
with
of
a frying pan.
Put people in chokeholds.
Yes.
Yeah. The frying pan, that was your weapon of choice? Wow. I didn't know you got beat as a kid, but let's get into it.
Not like that. No.
My mom was more of, she named me Adam because she didn't want me to have a nickname. And first of all, they couldn't see my wiener on the sonogram, so they were going to call me Rachel, which would have been terrible because then I'm living in those shadows. Everyone's like, hey, Rachel, so can you make bolognese in under 8 minutes? And I'm like, oh, because of the show. Cool, I get it. But and then I don't know actually when they said that it showed up on the sonogram. You still can't really see it, but it's fine. It's not. It's normal.
Have you kept the film?
The film of
the sonogram.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not a big sonogram guy, and that's the third time I've said that today. But a friend of mine's wife actually just gave me a hard time for not commenting on her sonogram on Facebook, and she was like, "I can't believe it's my first time. Like, what do you?" And I was like, "What do you want me to put?"
What is one supposed to say?
That to me seems so early. I'm like, "What do you want me to put?" Like, I hope it doesn't look like that on the way out. Like that's and he's got beautiful eyes. She's like, those are balls. I'm like, well, I can't tell, so this is why I didn't want to comment. You're setting me up for failure. Anyway, we were talking about you. Andrew, it's good to see you. What Andrew forgot to mention is that last time, I'm here now, Sandsdorf. Brad Williams, friend of the show, one of my best buds, great comedian. Look him up or check under
Brad's awesome. Great
check
guy.
under your
friend
coffee
of the program.
table.
Absolutely.
Right now. We met through Brad. Yeah. How did you meet Brad?
I met Brad years ago at K-Rock.
Oh, great. Okay.
So I used to do Kevin and Bean, morning show, KROQ, formerly. Used to be the morning show for 20 years. They were amazing on KROQ, and I would do Mondays with them, wrapping up the NFL.
Cool.
And I met Brad, I think, at one of the K-Rock Acoustic Christmases or Weenie Roast or something like that.
April Foolishness?
April Foolishness. Maybe that was it. Probably the comedy show they do, April Foolishness. And there is a video somewhere. We talked about this when we did your pod.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's only stills of Brad beating me at ping pong.
Oh, geez.
Oh, yeah.
How tall is Brad?
4'4".
And I'm not. I'm 5'7", I swear, with shoes on. And Brad beat me at ping pong.
Yeah. Brad beats you at anything. It's I don't want to say demoralizing. He lost a limbo competition in Mexico. We went on a bro trip to Mexico before we both got married, and he lost a limbo competition to, I think, a woman that was, I mean, it wasn't even like attractive how flexible she was. She was like bending in ways. And everybody, though, was kind of losing their mind because they were like, the dwarf lost the limp. Like, all he had to do was squat a little and walk under the pole. And he still lost because she somehow, folded herself into a panini and went, can you still say that? And she went under the pole.
When I was on the bar mitzvah circuit.
Anyway, we'll edit that story out. Go ahead.
When I was 13.
Yeah.
Although there's a limbo thing to this.
We both been bar mitzvahed.
Yes, we both been bar mitzvahed. When I was on the limbo circuit at 12 and 13 in Northern Virginia, and what a circuit it was, I was undefeated at limbo.
You were.
I never lost.
Yeah.
This was 1987, roughly 5'2" with a mullet. Maybe 4'11".
You had a mullet.
In 87.
Let's go.
Yeah. Name ended in a vowel. And I was Jewish, and I won.
Good for you.
Every single week.
Good for you.
I don't know that I could do that anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. Limbo's not really. I don't think it's even an ESPN 11 type sport. Like you'll see cornhole and bowling. By the way, if you get a chance to watch the bowling on ESPN, I think it's 2 or 3. I think they throw bowling on 2 or 3. It's intense. And not so much the bowlers. They're dialed in. It feels like, it's muscle memory. It's second nature to them. But some of the guys get real fired up when they get 3 in a row. There's a lot of the tiger like that, and some of the mustaches. I mean, they all look like they're about to get a DUI. Let's just start with that. Anyone who bowls professionally looks like they've, anyone who's just like, I can't wait to get my fingers in that. It's just, I don't know, a little slippery to me. But that being said, a great sport. Limbo, I don't think though has ever reached the popularity of such.
And people watch pickleball.
They do. Pickleball's fun. I played pickleball in Seattle. Was just up there to see my Seahawks, which I thought they were going to turn a corner in beating the Browns. It was a great win. I was there, felt the energy. Bill Nye, the science guy, raised the 12th man flag.
Hey.
Which I feel like I got to be pretty close if we're getting Bill Nye to raise the flag. And that's no knock on Bill Nye. Bill Nye is the science guy, but I was like, I bet it'll be Marshawn today. Or it's like, because we were doing the throwbacks. Right, we released the throwback jerseys.
And those were amazing.
Oh, they should be every Sunday. They're incredible. But and Bill's a Seattle guy. I mean, would have thought, even Largent would have been a cool choice. But anyway, we took care of business, and then last week, I don't know if you saw, but
I did. Yeah,
it was
over early.
It was over early, and look, any given Sunday, we got a new week, but man. I guess you know who you are when you play teams like that, right?
When you play the Ravens like that. So Adam Ray's here, by the way, and I'm a Browns fan, by the way.
Oh, wow.
So I that one was tough for me because the Browns should have won that game in Seattle.
Yeah.
What do you think of the blatant hold DK Metcalf on the game-winning touchdown by JSN, where he's literally lifting Martin Emerson's jersey off his shoulder pads?
Is that they should have given it to Marshawn on the one?
No, I mean, it's a mid-season game that may or may not factor at the end of the year. But he's literally ripping his jersey off.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a hold from my vantage point, but also, I don't know. It goes both ways.
Of course it does.
It could have.
Of course it does.
I feel like people are holding every play all the time. There's no way the speeds and the strength that these guys are working with, there's no way anyone is taught, I'm trying to harken back to my offensive line days of getting under and
keep your hands inside, you're going to get away with it. Right.
Totally.
Hands inside, you're
hands
fine.
inside, and you're not supposed to hold on a little bit. But it's like human nature, too, when you're supposed to be taught to try to drive and control a 320-pound whatever man, that if he starts to pull away, you're going to, wait, where are you going? And and add on top of that, what if you have abandonment issues? Then you're just like, no, you're holding on for your life. My dad left when I was 9. I mean, so if I was still playing football, I didn't because I quit to play Danny Zuko in Greece my sophomore year of high school and tried to make a joke about it too. I went up to my coach and I was like, Coach, I can't play this year. I can't memorize the playbook. I got to memorize the lyrics to Grease Lightning. And he was just like, in so many words, get out of my office. And then he brought his kids to the Sunday matinee, and he saw me wearing all this makeup and a leather jacket, and he was just like, well, you didn't suck. And I was like, thank you. Yeah. But shout out to Greg Tacone, Coach Tacone, threw a water bottle at a kid's head. But he, look, nobody's perfect. But I think it could have gone either way. But I think DK, thank God it didn't go against him, because I don't think he can handle anymore. Like, what is DK doing?
Another fine and another, what are you?
How do you
Not
feel
that he would have been fined for that.
I don't think so. How do you feel about DK just, kind of having a I am who I am type attitude? I play how I play. If you're going to get upset that I, get a little too emotional.
I like DK.
Me too.
I think
I love him.
Pete and I would say the same thing probably, and I'm not putting words in Pete's mouth. I think he's pretty much already said this.
In Pete's mouth, though. I've seen it. I read your blogs.
Yeah, you cannot get cheap shot penalties like that week in, week out.
Yeah.
Because A, you're going to get fined, B, you're going to hurt the team.
Yeah.
Did you tell that to Pete? You could have. Hold on, you guys. You and Bert, right?
Man. So
we're
Bert,
at
I was
practice.
Bert Kreischer, the machine, a true human legend and rock star, asked me to come up and do the Climate Pledge Arena with him in Seattle. And then the day before, he's like, "We're gonna go to Seahawks practice," and I was like, "Get out of here, dude." And I didn't know what that really contained, but we caught kickoffs. DJ Dallas was out there letting us catch some balls, and then Pete came and talked to us for about 20 minutes. And they had DK and Gino, and Gino walked through the hallways at one point. And he was like, "Don't I know you?" And I was like, "I think I saw some YouTube video." I was like, "Yeah, man." And then he was super great. And then Steve Rabel, who's the Seahawks voice of the Seahawks, is a buddy of mine, and it was cool because I'd met Pete and I tried to, in so many ways, let him know I was at SC while he was there. I was at SC 01 to 05 during the 30 for 30 Trojan War, like that whole time. And then so Pete going to Seattle was such a special thing. So I tried to relay that all to him, and he made some joke to us. We were like, "You coming to the show?" He's like, "No, I'm going to go see the Taylor Swift movie tonight." And then we didn't laugh, and he was like, "I'm joking, guys." And we were like, I know we all nervous. He's like, "Yeah, I know you are."
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, of course.
He could have done it.
And then he made some Tay-Tay reference later, but I'm talking to Rabel because he'd interviewed Pete, and Pete just comes by on a scooter. He famously scooters around the Seahawks facility. He's agile as all hell, but he just scooters around to get from. He's just always moving and shaking, and so he comes by and he just goes, "Adam," and he remembers my name. And didn't give me a hard time right after I had told him that I knew his daughter from USC, and I tried to let him know that without, coming up. I was like, "I know your daughter from college." I know that happened, but I know, So, and I think he, took it at face value, and so he scoots by and he grabs my phone and he goes, "Adam, what are you still doing here? What are you still doing here?" And I was like, "You remember my name?" And then I was talking to Steve Rabel, so I was like, "I'm actually talking to Steve Rabel," which made me look cool in front of Pete. And he goes, "Steve, leave him alone. I'm talking to my new best friend." And then he hands me the phone back and scoots away, and I go, "Pete, Steve has you as his desktop screensaver," and he goes, "You should see Adam," and skates away like waving backwards. The guy just does it all.
I love Pete, and years ago, what year was it? It was maybe right before what year did he leave to go up there? Like 09?
Yeah.
Okay. So his last year at SC, I was at 710 ESPN here in LA, and I did every Tuesday we did the show. Our 710 midday show from Heritage Hall, and I did the Pete Carroll show, like the coaches show that we would tape that hour there, and then it would air on the pregame show on Saturday. And that was not the easiest year for them, if you recall.
Yeah.
But he was genuine. He wore the losses. You could tell it wore him down, but he never said, "You can't ask this, you can't ask that." He couldn't have been cooler. And still to this day, he is that same guy. And yes, he has the scooter, and yes, he moves real slowly, but when he's out on that field, man, and the cameras are on, he is gonna, he picks up the speed, he's throwing passes, he's got the energy. He's never gonna let you see him slow down.
Yeah.
Ever.
I don't even know if he sleeps. He might sleep standing up. I don't know.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Also, don't you just get to a certain age to where you just don't need... Like my stepdad is 81, and he'll get 4 hours sometimes and have like Pete type energy, or he'll do these like 7-minute power naps. And
that's a thing, 7-minute power naps.
Yeah, he calls it 7 minutes in heaven, and I'm like, that's not what that is. But my stepdad, I can't wait to go home for Thanksgiving. He pitches me movies all the time, and he's just like, "All right, so I got an idea." First of all, he gave me great marriage advice. He was like, "I got 2 very important words for you. Yes, dear." And then my real dad was like, "I got some advice for you. Marriage is like a shoe. You try it on. If it doesn't fit, you grab another shoe." I was like, "Well, you did leave mom to start a new family when I was 8, so that checks out." And then my step-uncle hit me up, which having a step-uncle is kind of weird. It's like, his connection was like, "My sister, slept with your dad," and like, "What up, man?" And I was like, "All right." But he hit me up on Facebook, was like, "Hey, if you ever find yourself in Scottsdale, I know a massage parlor that takes Bitcoin." And I was like, "This is why we don't talk a lot, Uncle Rod, because you say stuff like that electronically, and it makes me want to delete my account." But I digress. My stepdad George, the last movie when I was home over the summer in Seattle, he was like, "All right, so Sandra Bullock, she's on the Space Needle. And the Space Needle is going to blow up. But so Denzel Washington, he's just there as a visitor, right? He's there with his family, seeing the Space Needle. And so then all of a sudden, aliens come out of nowhere, right? Because everyone likes aliens." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I don't think anyone hates aliens, but they're not. I don't think they're looking for them, and especially in a Sandra Bullock movie, and he was like, "But it's it's an alien comedy because Sandra Bullock's in it." I'm like, "Well, she's not known for alien comedies." He's like, "Well, no, but now she will be." And I'm like, "I think it's time for one of those 7-minute naps, George, because this movie is going nowhere." But that's what happens. I'm sure you guys get that all the time with people wanting to either pitch you sports opinions or ask you about certain money lines, or like what's the equivalent, I guess, for a comic actor that's getting pitched a joke right now?
I mean, everybody, the one I always get is like you're walking through the airport and then somebody stops you. It's like, hey, man, who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Nice.
Like, if I knew that, I wish I knew that. If I knew that, I probably, wouldn't be in Group 4 boarding this plane right now.
Whoa, Group 4, yeah. Do you ever get Southwest Sea Group? The rest of the Narnia.com?
Oh, yeah.
That is Southwest Sea Group. It's truly, some of these people have not even been on a plane before. They're foaming at the mouth. They're like, some of them come up to you, they're like, I'm C-177. Are you? And you're like, I'm C-174. And they're like, well, I think I'm actually supposed to be in front of you. You're like, we're both hanging off the wing, dude. I don't know what you're trying to pull off right now. C Group to me is like, I don't know. They're all wearing shin guards. They've got like mayonnaise on their sweatpants. And like, I heard one guy say once in C Group, was like, I hope they got potato salad up there. I was like, have you flown Southwest? We're maybe going to have to share peanuts. Spirit Airlines, though, is the worst. If you work at Spirit, I feel bad for you. The seatbelts, it's just two of the same side, so they just scissor each other. The flight attendants are blind. There's pee already in the toilet. The pilots high five when they land the plane. It's like, act like you've been there before, fellas. Anyway, but the Seahawks, I think, have a good shot to go to the Super Bowl. I would have said this two weeks ago.
But they wouldn't fly on Spirit to get there.
No way.
No.
If you do fly on Spirit to the Super Bowl, that's I don't think what would a team do, I guess, if they found out they were flying Spirit, like their plane broke down?
They just would
forfeit the game.
They just wouldn't make it there.
Now, let me ask you this. Do the Seahawks have a legit chance to go deep in the playoffs? And I
Absolutely.
guess, yeah.
If Geno stops turning the ball over.
Man. Okay, follow-up question for all you guys.
Yes.
How, and I'm sure you've talked about this, at what point do you consider Drew Lock, or because you're not going out to get anybody else?
Didn't you say this earlier?
I said Geno hot seat. It's heating up a little bit.
It is, man. And I think Pete is just so big on like not turning the ball over. And
signed Brett Rippon today. Did you see that?
We did?
Yeah, practice squad Brett Rippon. You're collecting former Bronco quarterbacks.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
Russ might be.
There's no world where Russ comes back. We'll sign Rick Meyer before Russell Wilson, and drink 5 if you're playing the Rick Meyer drinking game. Wasn't his name Rick Meyer?
It is. Yeah,
Old
Rick
Seahawks
Meyer.
quarterback.
Yeah.
In the Kingdom.
Number 3, traded to the Bears.
Wasn't he like the second overall pick, right?
He was.
He was the second overall pick. I think that's when we had Joey Galloway and Chris Warren.
93.
Correct.
93.
All right, they're yelling at me. Adam's got dates coming up. You're not going anywhere.
Okay, great.
Duluth, Minnesota, Appleton, Wisconsin, Rochester, Minnesota, Davenport, Iowa, starting November 16, 17, 18, and 19. The big Midwest tour. Adam Ray sitting in the chair, and we just had Bill Burr playing us in here on the Roku channel as well. You and Bill have this thing.
Oh, yeah.
So
Bill's my favorite comic.
He's unbelievable.
I think he's a lot of people's favorites.
He's unbelievable. And you have an unbelievable Dr. Phil.
Have you seen any of it?
I have.
Oh, cool.
I was watching last night. And so it's Bill interviewing you as Dr. Phil, right?
Flip it around. Yeah. So I started doing, during the pandemic, I was trying to just find ways to create content and stay active, really, and just not go crazy, which was inevitable. And so a friend of mine who I'd met on the one-season Mad TV reboot on the CW, exactly, and so Jen Aspinall, this amazing makeup artist who was on SNL, the original Mad TV, Westworld, Winning Time. She won an Emmy for doing my Pam and Tommy Jay Leno makeup. Mm-hmm. She's a gangster, and so she did me up as Dr. Phil, and I started doing all these just fun podcasts. And so it got to a point where I was like, I should do a live show because it's really fun, just character and heightened impression. And so I was doing a monthly show at the store, and I hit a burn. I was like, I want to do something different and not just do another stand-up show. I think I might want to do this live Dr. Phil show, and maybe you come on and be the guest. And he couldn't have been more pumped. I mean, he sent me like 9 voice notes being like, dude, and you just got to really come at me for my rage. You got to be like, this next guy hates everybody. And he just wanted me to go harder in the paint on him during the show, but it ended up just being this really fun live, almost, podcasty type thing. And it was just like he went on this long rant at one point. There's a great clip of this on my Instagram where he's ranting about the Catholic Church and Nazis and all this stuff. And then there's just, it's about an almost 2-minute rant. And then I just take a beat and I just go, "You going to go see the new Indiana Jones?" and that got a big pop. And that really broke him. And so it's just real silly and just, tangent filled. But I did another one with Adam Devine and Andres Holm. And then we have one on November 21st with Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino. And then who knows, maybe we'll get Andrew Siciliano on one.
Dude, let's go.
But
you lean into it, man. Like I was watching on YouTube this morning. There was one where you had the Aussie guy in the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
And what's like, why are you here? Because like Australia's burning down.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was an old clip. Yeah, of when I think the wildfires were happening.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so he brought that up immediately, and I was like, "Oh, thanks for bringing the energy down." Can anybody else top this bummer-filled fellow in the front row? Dr. Phil is so. I mean, he just launched it. He's going to do his own network, and which is smart.
Is
I mean,
he?
He's so. Oh yeah. He this whole video is like, "My wife Robin and I, people can't get enough of what I'm trying to put out there and what I'm trying to put in you, okay? Don't be weird about it, okay? I'm not Gatorade. I'm not inside of you yet, but I'm trying to be, because thoughts turn into dreams and dreams turn into reality. And as my friend Andy, don't call him that, his mama will drop kick you right in the nether regions, and you know what I'm talking about. In between the legs, it rhymes with nutsack. And what I'm telling you right now is that if you think big, you're going to be big, okay? And yeah, we all deal with weight issues, okay? Sometimes I'll lay in bed, I'll put a brown sugar Pop-Tart under my pillow, okay, for the tooth fairy, because she's got diabetes. We'll be right back. So he's launching his own network because, people can't get enough of that. We'll be right back is the best line in television. And he always cuts the commercial before anyone can defend themselves, and that's my favorite part. He's like, "Hold that." He's like, "Karen, you're 926 pounds, and you're only 5'2". You're too big to be in a bathtub or an elevator. What you need to do is stop dipping macaroni and cheese into Cool Whip. We'll be right back." She's like, "All right, well, it's been a rough year. My app didn't work."
Hold on. We have 3 minutes. We're never going to get to these pics.
Okay, let's get to the
Let's
pics.
get to the Instagram.
Let's pull up
Rich was in Berlin. He was taking a bike tour. He's doing the whole German tourist thing, which is amazing. I'm happy for him. You saw some of the photos. Let's go
I saw
through
the photos. We pulled up some photos. Okay, great. Okay, so this is so I kind of wrote. So again, on Instagram, I'll take pictures of people on the plane, and then I'll kind of write these fake captions. And sometimes I get called out at baggage claim. All right, so this one. All right, so I said this is the guy who played the dad in an Olsen Twins movie where they get kidnapped by an abominable snowman on his Eat, Pray, Love trip to Alaska. And the caption on this pic says, "Almost at the North Pole, JK." All right, next picture.
Next.
All right, this is, which one was this one? Oh, this is the face of a guy on vacation with friends, stepping aside to take a selfie in the woods after his wife's best friend Delaney just asked for $100K for her new dating app for little people called Big Hearts, Little Butts. Next picture. All right, this is Rich. I said Rich looks like a Jewish mime who starts every conversation with, "If you haven't seen Cats the musical, delete my number." I mean, he looks like stage crew for Les Mis. All right, this is Rich and Kurt Warner. This is the time Rich said he'd only go to the booth if he got to bring his Madame Tussauds wax figurine of Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner looks so pristine and perfect in this pic, he doesn't look real, is the point I'm trying to make. Yeah. His skin looks flawless, his teeth look fake, his turtleneck looks too tight, but that's the way we want Kurt Warner in the booth. It's too tight, and okay, this one is Rich. This is the guy at the Super Bowl party who shows up early, brings his own coffee, stays the night, sleeps on the floor in your bathroom, uses your toothbrush, smells your girl's underwear, and then just when your blood bubbles to maximum frustration, he Venmos you $1,000 and promises to change the name of his fantasy football team from Deshaun Watson's masseuse to your name.
Oh my God, you're fired.
No, this is great. We got more. How many more pics we got? One more? All right, great. This is the guy they use on the brochure for rehab centers in Tampa. Yeah. I love you, Rich. Come on back and we'll do more. Come on,
hold on.
We'll be right back.
Rich, I had nothing to do with any of that.
Actually,
That's all Brockman.
This is completely my idea.
Yeah. That's all Brockman.
I think it went over well.
And Adam.
It was great.
I really
Killed
like
it.
that last one.
We got 10 seconds for radio. Where can people
great.
find out more about
AdamRayComedy.com
Okay.
for my tour dates. I got a special live from Portland on my YouTube. My next special will be coming out very soon. The Dr. Phil live shows on YouTube. I guess subscribe to the YouTube channel, Instagram, TikTok, tour dates. About Last Night, my podcast, which Andrew's been on, and
Go
Rich has been
Hawks.
on. And go Hawks! Russ is gone, so someone's got to say it. Go Hawks, Gino, we're still with you, baby. But don't screw it up this weekend because I got $30 on the game.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.